a generation earlier, like my folks' generation, they were using that scam so they could storm Normandy. 17, fake fake ID so they could serve their country and get wiped out. And
Dumbasses.
Yeah.
I'm storm. I stormed the mini mart with the same confidence that Paps went out there at Normandy with
With
better
about
results.
the same chance of success.
Yeah, yeah. Cold beer, cold shakes. I'm going.
That was here. My dog.
My studio.
I got Christmas music buffering the wife's home, so I've got Christmas music between me and anything I might say out here. It'll be drowned out by the happy holiday sounds.
I thought she hated
The
Christmas
dulcet
music as
tones
much
of
as
Bing
she hated
Crosby.
you.
No, I think she still kind of fondly wants to hear Christmas music. So I think it's yeah. No, she doesn't hate the Christmas music. She's just transitioning to a different
it's
belief
Christmas?
system. Yeah, I put on stuff without lyrics.
Maybe she just hates stuff
There's
you're into.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, she hasn't been. She went to a comedy show. I mean, the last time she went to a comedy show that I did was like at Harvey's Comedy Club. Probably, I don't even know how many years, 20 years ago at least, and it was just bad luck. So we decided not to do that anymore.
Your comedy career was just bad luck? Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
No, just that there was like a drink spilled down my shoe. I was on stage and I set my drink on the stool and it slowly worked its way across and then dumped, and people in the front area saw it slowly developing. It was like, watching an ice cube melt or something. The cup slowly went and then it's tipped over and dumped down my shoe. And that was I just decided that, bad karma, bad luck in the back of the room. I asked the crowd there it was at Harvey's, and they were like back in those days, they would like tell everybody, keep quiet. They'd still tell you, but they, remind you to not yell out, talk to the performer on any level.
Harvey's is in Portland. And hold on, Andy. Harvey's is in Portland, and it's on Burnside there in the area, like the downtown area. And they're a holdback to the old style of shitty comedy clubs that have a fishbowl where you drop your card in, and you can register to perhaps win, if you're lucky, win a free appetizers or a birthday party or something like that. But upstairs is a whole bank of phones and people sitting in there chained to them and letting everyone know that they are the lucky winner this week, so that everyone that comes into a Doug stand, that they've got a free set of appetizers coming because you're the lucky winners, when basically half the crowd is basically phoned in and feel like they're winners, and they have no idea who the comic is or what comedy is about, or we can still catch the late show. Let's get the fuck out of here. I hate this guy. So,
Yeah. I still occasionally get my you have 10 free tickets waiting for you at the Des Moines Funny Bone for this week's show. And I signed up as a performer there just for fun, and I somehow was a winner.
Yeah, my mom.
They don't recognize the name.
My mom went to a show at
That's
Harvey's.
for sure.
My mom went to a show at Harvey's. The one time she went, and then she called up a couple weeks later and said, "I won free tickets to go back to Harvey's, but I don't know what to do because I don't have 10 friends." Well,
Did they stipulate that you can't?
Well, she thought
none of the tickets are good unless you bring 10. Like, unless your whole party's here, we can't seat you.
Yeah. So she's trying to figure out how to rally the nursing home or whatever to go. Field trip.
I'm just picturing him turning away parties of 9 at the door.
Yeah.
Sorry, get
Yeah.
your free tickets and get out of here with your fucking 8 friends.
I invited the baseball team. They'll be here any minute.
Can we get one more ticket?
Yeah.
We got an alternate pitcher. Hey, Andy, that's the place. I'm sure you remember, Doug was doing a show. Attell was in doing Insomniac or something. So Attell went up and did a few minutes, and then he just rushes out of there. And then by then, people have finished, licking their fingers from the chicken wings, and then they start paying attention. And then we had basically half of Harvey's walk out. And the funny part for Andy and I was we had a video camera, and I was taping, and Andy was trying to get people to tell him who did you come out to see? This is Andy in the street.
Right, man on the
Andy in the street. Portland Live. Hey, we're just talking to folks about what's going on down in Portland.
Out live in Portland, screening people coming out of the club here. Hey, we're with the live out in the streets in Portland. Yeah, we just kept changing it up. And...
At one point, we're standing in front of the poster, the marquee out front of Harvey's with Doug's face on it, and Doug walks through like a hurried shopper, walks through the middle of the interview as Andy's saying, "Who you coming out to see tonight?" And they're all, "We're here to see comedy." And Doug comes walking through them, smoking a cigarette. Excuse me. Walks right between them. They have no idea. And they're like, "You say it says right here on the poster, a Stanhope. Can we just do take 2?" Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
You see the people squinting at the poster when they're like answering the question. I guess I'm here to see Doug Stanhope.
No, Stanhope.
Nope.
My favorite story like that Stanhope told was whenever there was people protesting him outside the club, but they had no idea who he was, and he went out and joined them, and they didn't know.
And they took pictures with him.
That's fucking great.
So part 2 of Harvey's was after we had all these, like literally, the sound of screeching back chairs, during the set. And Doug doesn't give a fuck.
We should have got those would have been some good comment cards to read. Because that was how that guy
after the show. Go ahead.
Oh, that's how he decided who to book too. He actually read those comment cards, so people who won free tickets that would come out to see somebody they had no idea who it was would complain about who they saw, and that's how that person wouldn't get passed back. So if you were
with no monetary investment whatsoever, they've got nothing, no skin in the game, so to speak.
And those cards always ask you what comic you would like to see at the club, and the answer is always like George Carlin, Eddie Murphy. It's like, bitch, we're in Madison, Wisconsin, at a 75-seat room. Eddie Murphy ain't coming. What the?
And they never really. They ask you to complain about the comics, or they kind of invite you to complain about the comics, but there's really nothing about how did you find our service? Did you think our drinks were overpriced? Because the comic usually takes the brunt of the anger of the crowd, but they might be, think they won tickets and then get hit with their bill halfway through your set and go, what? Sticker shock and shit, and they're mad about that, and then the whole thing comes down on the comic because there's no slot to say, what did you think of us as a club? Did you hate us?
Overpriced and watered down.
What club would you rather see comedy in?
Shit.
Yeah, one time
after that show. Hold on, Andy. Hold on to that. After that show, I'm sure you remember, we still had the camera, and we were filming people's reactions as they came out. And we'd been drinking a little bit, and I remember Doug standing there, and this guy, like, he was one of the last to leave. Like, he could stand no more. And Doug was doing an abortion bit when leaves. And that guy, it was so close front, and that guy came up just nose to nose. And Doug's standing on a step up. And this guy's in Doug's face. tell him that's fucking bullshit kind of thing. And I see Doug just like getting ready to get hit. Like that, like bracing for it. Which way?
Yeah.
And I think he's a righty. I think he's coming from the right. And then Andy comes in with the fucking cat. He thought about the show. And the guy basically goes off, and Andy's chasing after him, asking him, "Can I just get a few more comments about the show?" And the guy actually went to his car and pulled out a rubber pipe and then chased Andy back. It was like a total Benny Hill. Like Andy and the guy go one way, and Andy chasing him, and then another guy comes back, and Andy's running because this guy's chasing after him with a rubber pipe.
And then the next scene you see now, the guy's got the camera and Andy's got the rubber pipe, and they're running and chasing back and forth. There's a gorilla behind them.
Yeah.
Popping in and out of doors.
Yeah, I thought it's like at some point I thought he was going to get a gun. And so I was pretty happy to see a rubber pipe come out, in that situation.
Well, I mean,
there's
anyone reaching in their car under the seat, you never think it's a rubber pipe.
Yeah.
You just assume.
Yeah. Remember that show we did in Erickson and Madison where the guy was selling crack right out in front, out of the back? And that guy.
Yeah.
I think he was digging through. He had to rifle past guns to get to the crack, but we're like, oh fuck, what's this guy pulling out of here?
Yeah, it's the kind of situation where you think, man, having a real sketchy looking guy selling crack out of the trunk of his car right in front of the club might hinder or hassle some of the audience that came to see you perform. But luckily for us, there wasn't any of that. So that wasn't any issue.
No.
There was literally no people there.
Wasn't that was one
the crowd
that
was looking for crack?
Yeah. I think that was one of the nights we were touring with Matt Kirshen, and he had a couple of nights where there were just like 2 or 3 of his fans showed up, and then they had to sit through.
He had just done Last Comic Standing, so he had some heat. And then we did some shows with Art Hinty as the promoter, and he booked the Madison Club in the wrong club. He thought he was booked. He thought he booked us somewhere else. We go to that club. There's no show there. They're like, "Oh no, you're down the street at this other sketchy empty bar that there was literally nobody there." And then 2 people showed up, like a nice, like 55-year-old woman and her daughter, who were big fans of Matt Kirshen, who had to like scarily, like they were going through one of your haunted houses, Shaylee, like walk past through the, then they sat down in the room and they were like, not trying to touch anything. And then they had to sit through Andy and I to wait for, we made Matt go last.
Yeah. So then,
and that's when the crack dealer came in and started heckling me, walked right up to the stage, started heckling me. And I started giving it back to him for a minute. And then I was like, you know what? Do you want to do this? And he's like, yeah, motherfucker, I'll do it. And I'm like, all right. And I just handed him the microphone and went and sat down. I'm like, I know that breaks one of the tenets of comedy, never give an audience member the microphone, but there was no show happening. I was like, I don't fucking need this in my life. You can do it.
I think that's when we knew he was a crack dealer, because he hot mic and he started advertising. So we're like, oh, okay. And we started piecing it together, like the bartender with the baseball bat. He was slamming it up on the thing, letting people know not to fuck with him, and then the sketchy people, and then they'd come in, and then what kind of, I don't know, it was like a big Lincoln Continental with the trunk open, and then it's like the guy wanted to sell his merch in the back or whatever. It's like, we have our fucking table, you can't put crack on it or whatever,
Yeah.
Let's work out some trades.
At least he was professional enough to do that. If you're going to sell merch after the show, the least you could do is do some of the time on stage,
Oh, yeah.
So that seemed all right.
Yeah. Never let a heckler have the mic unless he's, a crackhead and you're in a crack den. and then, let your ego step aside.
Yeah, that is just polite.
Yeah. Isn't safe, what's that thing, a part of your brain in front of ego is safety or whatever. It's like self-protection,
Fight your flight.
I love your guys' stories because usually the story would be about a bartender banging a bat on the fucking bar, but he's a minor bit player in your story.
Yeah.
That's not even what the story's about.
I think he was just reminding the crack dealers that there was a comedy show and he gets 15% of sales or some shit. That was during my set where I was up there babbling and then this guy's banging the bat on there and it wasn't about me at all. It was just some show of, it was like a fucking when a howler monkey yells or some shit,
Yeah,
that was a great tour.
Matt Kirshen couldn't get off of that tour fast enough. He was like, "What the fuck have I done?"
Another great one was in another lightly attended show was in Minneapolis, and we had this band called Stunning. Remember Stunning?
Yeah.
And there was the same deal. It was a mother and daughter who came out to see that adorable little English chap from NBC.
Yeah.
And they had to wait through Stunning. They had to hear me and Brett, and then they sat through with polite, pasted on smiles, just trying to get through it, And then Stunning was like, I don't even know how to describe their music, but they were very loud, and it just blasted our fucking heads off. And these two ladies that had their polite smiles pasted on there had to sit through a loud set of that, and then they got what they wanted with the lovely little Matt show.
Hey, Erickson, did you buy one of the LPs from Stunning?
Yeah, I had one for a while. I don't know where it would be in this life.
It was it was the greatest album cover. It was the whole band and they're drawn in and they were being attacked. Like literally each one of them was in a paw or in the mouth or like on the ground bleeding from a polar bear.
Yeah, I got that.
That was the cover of the.
I would say I bought that too, but we probably just traded, swapped up merch. But I have that cover in my. I have that in the den. I'll display it later.
It wasn't. Didn't they spell it? They spelled it STNNNING.
Yeah, because there was another. There was another band named Stunning in England or some shit, and there became a lawsuit, so they just dropped a letter.
Added or turned a U upside down, right?
No, I think they just got. Didn't they just get rid of a U? I think they got. I don't know.
They added some ends.
There's some ends.
Either way, I don't think the mother-daughter team bought that album cover. But I bought it because that was I did a bit about wanting to be eaten by a bear, or that would be a good way to die. And then they had that album cover with everybody being eaten by a bear, and like, oh fuck yeah, this is my dream come true. Then Grizzly Bear Man ruined it for me, and they didn't even have the balls to put the ending into it.
Right.
You guys know that movie, right?
Oh yeah. It's a Werner Herzog movie.
Yeah, and then it's a whole movie. You're waiting for this guy to get eaten by the bear, and then it's like one of those really good. Don't tell anybody because let it be ruined for everybody at the same time.
Crying.
Yeah, and it was just this. Okay, they're gonna show it right because I sat through this. The whole Mr. Fox, give me my hat back scene that ran 15 minutes too long. Just to see a guy get eaten by a bear, and then they go, "We're not going to show it. We can't." Like, no.
There was discussion.
Yeah.
Here's the audio.
See, that's an exact example of why I tell people who ask me or us to put this vodcast on iTunes, and I say no. You have to see it. It has to be seen. It's like the end of Grizzly Man. The audio itself does not do it justice. So there's your answer.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
You have it. Yeah, you have a touchstone now. That's an example of look. The last time you wanted to see something in video and they only made it in audio. Guess what?
Yeah.
Not so good, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can't. You can't see the cold sweat on my brother Larry playing the bongos on audio.
I love that the selling point of our podcast is it's like somebody being mauled by a grizzly bear. Check it out.
Well, that's your fan. I when we were in Alaska, me and Chad and we were all there, right? Yeah, we were all there at the grizzly pen. I think Erickson was a little under the weather
We
that
didn't
morning.
go. Yeah,
I think
we skipped it.
Erickson
skipped out.
Erickson got snowed in, but the rest of us waited out.
We got snowed out.
Yeah.
We were still up, and Erickson went down. But we went out, and then we were staring at this big fucking grizzly bear and his big dish of dog food, and we were just like separated by a fence, and that's when I realized Shank wanted to be eaten by a bear more than I did. You know, my scenario always involved heroin. His just involved pitting his strength against a foe, a regular foe.
One last fist fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shank. I've seen the bears out there in Alaska at that place, so I didn't need to go again.
Yeah, Shank needs that, like a grizzly bear. Like I'd need like maybe a cop or something. That'd be my fight fantasy of getting killed or whatever. But
I have that one too.
Yeah, Shank could go like 5 or 6 rounds with the grizzly, and they'd both be like, "No more, man, I quit."
Hey, you grabbed my balls, man. You're a bear, motherfucker.
Yeah, no biting.
Yeah, death by cop. It's not just for black guys anymore. Have you been seeing the videos? Man, they're going after innocent bystanders now.
It's not just for black guys anymore. Shit.
Yeah, I always envisioned if I got killed by a cop, it would involve like a blackface and a complaint. Like I call and somebody's trying to break in my house, and then I just run out in blackface. Now I can just go on a drive in Florida or something.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
That's pretty good, Andy. I've never thought to give my suicide by cop idea some insurance with blackface.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But as maybe, I don't have a chimney like that, but I could say I was cleaning the chimney, or I would not leave a note that it was some sort of. It was like
cleaning the chimney.
Yeah. Put a note on the door. I'm cleaning the chimney. Don't bother me, or whatever. And then call the cops. Say some black guys are rustling around in my backyard, and let fear lead you out.
And then you come running out of your house with like a fireplace poker.
Oh Lordy, it's hot! Oh Lordy, it's hot in here. I just watched the Green Book
Is that how Chimney Sweet's talking to
you? They do now.
You know the old stereotype of the southern black chimney sweep.
Actually, no. I think that's more how white guys sounded when they did impressions of black guys back in the day. Because black guys never really sounded like that, except when the Three Stooges hired them. But the white guys who do blackface would do that. Oh Lordy, and all that. Yeah. Give me a biscuit. Oh Jesus.
Sure.
Black guys are like, man, what's this guy talking about? This is some bullshit. I never once said Lordy, I said Lord. Fuck this.
Oh, fuck. Get that off of there. I'm out for drinking.
Yeah.
I'm seriously frantically looking for that picture of Chad Shank with the bear. I think you guys got it.
Find it. We'll find it. Don't worry.
Well,
and then he went to the gift shop and admired one of the claws and he's putting it up to his neck, sizing it out.
Shaylee bought me one, gave it to me in the car. Here you go.
Wow, this thing's carotid artery size.
Well, see, yeah. Andy, I didn't know you had a bear story until I went to the fun house and tried to tell these guys. We took the kids up to the Tucson Zoo one time, and we went and had hamburgers just before we went to see the bears. And I made friends with this grizzly bear because he loved the way my fingers smelled through this little crack. So I kept trying to give him my fingers, and he was sucking on, and I could feel the wind passing over my fingers from him. He wanted me so bad. And then when I realized how bad he wanted me, I'm like, can I just jump in there? Like, he wants it, I want it. It'd be fucking fantastic. I'll still make the news. I don't even have to kill anybody else, and I'll still get on the news.
Unfortunately for you, just like mine with Grizzly Bear Man, where I would just go in the woods and be eaten by a bear. But yours has been ruined by a lot of people who go to the zoo and fall into the encagement and shit. Kind of,
Yeah.
Whoops! Oh shit! Oh dear!
It was the first time I ever envisioned myself doing a parkour. I know exactly how to get into that bear cage and land a couple of good body shots before he takes my head off with one swipe.
Yeah, some
You do your
do-gooder would
training
ruin it, though.
by signing up for that. Signing up for that show Wipeout to do the training.
Yeah. Why are you here? I'm trying to die.
That would be a good reality show, is Death by Animal, and just a bunch of people go out and have extreme animal interactions, like Naked and Afraid, but without any bullshit around it. It's like,
Well, with Naked and Afraid, it's all stock footage or B-roll of a leopard walking by. You don't
right.
see a guy out of frame with a thing of meat.
Yeah.
Taunting the.
And they're wild animals. They're happy over. They don't give a fuck about you as long as you leave them alone. You film that shit in the zoo where the animals are already pissed off and they fucking hate people. That's the way.
There's a show on right now. There's a show on right now that has contestants, big meathead guys, in competition with a bear, like a tug of war with a bear, or a bear pushes you in a ball over the. No, it's man versus grizzly.
That's allowed in 2019.
Something like that. Yeah, well, I mean,
that seems like something that would have got canceled already by PETA or somebody.
Well, yeah, it's only just started. But you see that the man is always separated from the grizzly, and you don't see the guy off camera. I'm going to say Russian or maybe German. That is the handler with a pistol and a whip. Threatening him to put him back on the bicycle if he doesn't fucking pull the rope or whatever.
Cattle prod.
It's not very entertaining.
I'll bet Roy's rolling over in his grave, huh?
What's left of him?
Wait, Roy didn't die, right?
I don't remember which one it was.
I think he got I think Roy just got disfigured so much he didn't appeal to the queers, so his career died.
Not the face. Not the face.
No, yeah, no kidding. What did Siegfried ever regroup with another Roy, or what happened there?
That was no idea. I
told
so.
you mean
like Siegfried and Jim?
I'm sure I've heard.
I think it's kind of hard to recruit. A second Roy after the first Roy is eaten by a lion.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm sure I already burnt the story of my grandma getting mauled by the tiger, but we still shopped at the Bon Marché after that. That's kind of my defining moment in life, is my grandma getting mauled by a tiger at a shopping mall in America, in Oregon, in Coos Bay, Oregon. There's no tigers around there. A lot of cougars.
Well, you can't. No matter what, you can't go to Coos Bay without getting molested by someone or something.
Well,
no shit.
No, I was from Coquille. We went to Coos Bay to walk off from molestation. Right.
we went there to get molested by strangers. I went
over to Coos Bay originally to cruise the mall with my janitor from my middle school also cruised the mall at the same time. I think we were all just looking for members only jackets at the time. And then eventually some to
buy for others.
Yeah. Eventually I would go over to Coos Bay we'd go over there to get booze, because we burnt most of our the guys we'd get to buy for us, or the people in Coquille, we ran out of options. There's this man giant JL. He was like bigger than Shank and retarded, like, you know, like not in a good
and more
fun way.
retarded than
More retarded than me.
Oh, like
That poor bastard.
if you took Chad Shank's retarded level right now and kicked it in the head with a horse, that's JL.
That's pretty fucking retarded, I have to tell you.
Yeah, and we would pick this guy up, and he would always buy for us, and we'd get bottles of whiskey, and JL would take it. And I'd say I'll give you a picture of JL too. He's still alive. He's a man monster, and he would chug half of our booze like Belushi in Animal House with the J. He would drink it like the guy in Van Halen would fake it, but JL would do that. He had a big beard, and he was a lager, kind of cross-eyed, retarded fella, or you know, socially retarded. I don't know what it was, his deal. But and then he would drain down his beard. So then we were like, fuck this, let's go to Coos Bay. And we had a lot more people to pick up, mentally ill people or whatever, to buy our alcohol. But that just led to fights. That's where I first learned you could get arrested for drunk driving in Coos Bay. In Coquille, they just pull you out of the ditch and right your ship. If you weren't molestable, they would let you go. But in Coos Bay, they actually arrested people. My friend Mitch got arrested, and we thought it was funny, and then they like, it still was, but it was like, you know, it's funny with consequences.
That's a good topic. Who did you guys get to buy you alcohol when you were underage? Or did you guys
no, we did it. In Walnut, Illinois, we just had to have like somebody's older brother do it. You know, it was always like somebody we knew. Because Walnut only had a little over 1,000 people, so everybody knew everybody. So it wasn't like you could just ask the town drunk or some guy walking into the liquor store to buy alcohol for you. It wouldn't have flown. They'd have been like, wait a minute, aren't you Betsy Erickson's son?
That's actually how.
Yeah, so we always had to have somebody
ID in high school.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. You're not Steve
I know your
Littleford.
mom. There's 5,000 people in this town, you dumb fucking kid.
We did a lot of just going in and bluffing it, you know, like mom and pop stores and stuff before there were chains, and just drop it down, act like, or sometimes they wouldn't even card you. You're like, you know, I think I was 17, 18 years old before I was able to, I mean, it was like 1 out of 7 or whatever, but they didn't call the police or anything. It's go, come back when you're older or whatever. Yeah. And then,
it's like a Pride of Lions. They don't always, every time they try for a kill, they're only like 1 in 9, 1 in 10, but you got to put your numbers up. You can't sit down on the bench. It's not going to score.
You never know. Sometimes they respect the effort.
Yeah.
That's right.
We used to go out to the river. We spent a lot of time out at the river because there's one little tiny store, and it's way away from civilization and the people that live out at the river. And it's like a bodega there. You know, prices are jacked up because you have nowhere else to go. But the great thing is I could be 15 years old and shirtless, like a fucking skinny little boy, and go in there and buy a fucking 12-pack of Bud Light. But it was also $18. So they bought it as long as somebody bought it.
Fuck yeah, just bought beer.
The barrier to purchase wasn't age. It was the fact you needed the money.
Yeah, they didn't care. But when we were in town, we lived next to because we had small town too. We lived next to the Indian reservation, San Carlos Indian Reservation, and they can't have alcohol out there. So there's a bar that is the closest to the Indian reservation. They all hike in on payday, and then they just spend the night out back in the trees. So you can go back behind there and just get people to buy you beer. I'll buy you a 40 if you buy me a 12-pack, and they would always, usually they do it. People then start realizing that they had pockets full of cash, and so people started going back there and beating the shit out of them, stealing all their money. And
Yeah.
and then it became a bit more of a challenge to
Yeah.
go back, get them to buy you beer. You never knew they might fist fight you, or you could get beer. But we usually got, or somebody's fucking uncle, or whatever.
That's
Or my
that's a variation, Chad, of what they call the shoulder tap, where hey mister, as the guy's getting out of his car to go into we grew up in Southern California. Go ahead.
No, go.
I was gonna say
No,
we grew up in a little place called Southern California, in Fullerton, and it's the population base is bigger than all those places that you guys were from. So it very anonymous. If you struck out at one, I'll say it, Asian market, you struck out at one, you just went down 2 blocks to the other one, and you could go in there. And I was lucky because I told you guys before, I had the ID where I drew on this beautiful little mustache with a pencil. And they would just, a lot of times they would just look at the picture and they wouldn't look at the age, and they'd say, oh, he must have shaved. So, I wouldn't try and draw the mustache on myself.
That's actually a great one. Yeah.
We always got away.
Plus, we all look the same to them, So they're like, oh, these round eyes, I can't tell if they're 18 or 40,
You get the one where they wouldn't even look up. They'd pretend to look at the ID and do that thing as if, like on camera, it looks like they looked at the ID. But they would just, ring you up and then hurry up because they want to get you out of there. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
They want you out of there fast.
As soon as you leave, they make fun of you to the other Asian guy, like, oh, I'm 21. Yeah. Look at me. I'm 21. I buy beer.
When I was in high school, I got this is back when they would take your driver's license away when they gave you tickets. I may have told this story before, but they would take your driver's license away and you'd be driving on the ticket. That was your license. So I got a ticket for something, and I'm like, well, now I can just change my birthday on here, So I changed it to say that I was 21, and it worked at a couple places. And then this one place is like, no way, you're like 17 or whatever. And I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, listen. And so the person like knew how old I was, and I'm like, wait, what? And then the guy, it was like this grizzled old bartender at this tiny little roadside bar in a town of about 50 people, and he's like, you might not know this, young man, but your year of birth is in your Illinois driver's license number, and embedded in the driver's license number in the second set is just the last 2. So it was like, 3, 4, 5, and then it would be like 6-7, and that's your year of birth. So like, I didn't fucking know that. So fucking totally busted.
That's great.
But he didn't call the cops or anything. He just told me to get the fuck out of there.
And just a generation earlier, like my folks' generation, they were using that scam so they could storm Normandy. Fake ID so they could serve their country and get wiped out. And
dumbasses.
Yeah,
I stormed the mini mart with the same confidence that Paps went out there at Normandy with
about
results.
The same chance of success.
Yeah. Cold beer, cold shakes. I'm going.
We had in Phoenix. Oh, go ahead.
No, nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, in Phoenix, there used to be a place called Checks Cashed, and you can guess what they did. But the other thing that they did was they gave you an Arizona ID. You'd have to go in and pay them like $20, and
you had to pay extra for it, though, right?
You pay $20, and you fill out a little card with all of your information, birth date included. They print it up on a little fucking something you could do at your own house now, but back then they'd print it up. You go get your picture taken. They'd laminate it, and it said Arizona identification. It looked fairly professional for then, and I got busted for using one of those, but they were $20. You could get one every time you went to Phoenix if you wanted to, and just put, and so those worked out. That worked out really well while I was young too. And then whenever I was in the Army, I was like 18 years old, And my uncle, then I may have told this story before too, I'm sure, but my uncle was
Probably on a different
21,
podcast.
20, yeah, I'm on the other podcast, maybe. Or on my Twitch stream. The
Which you can get when you
I was-
subscribe to Amazon Prime. You get one.
Is it that time already? Hey,
I somehow went from talking to nobody at all to talking to so many people I don't know who I've told stories to. But my uncle was he was 21 and I was 18, and he got a DUI, and they took his license, but they didn't take his physical license. And so he gave it to me. And so the whole time I was in the Army, I got out of the Army just before I turned 21 the first time. I was in from like 18 to 20, 17 to 20. And I used his ID the entire time. So I've never been without being able to drink.
I'll tell you, the internet has changed everything, because my daughter got a fake ID when she was like 19. And and she told me about it. I don't give a shit. If she's in college, if she wants to have a fake ID, she can have one. But she got one from China. Like, you can just, like, she got a legit Illinois driver's license with her picture on it from China for like $150, and it was exact. They'll make you one. They don't give a shit. And the best part is, when they sent it to her in like this little package that had like a little trinket, like a little necklace or some trinket bullshit. Like, that's what she ordered. And then underneath the little like foam that the necklace was on, you dig down underneath there, and your driver's license is buried under that shit. It's like, holy fuck, that's great.
That's awesome.
Well done.
Maybe it's not a stereotype. Maybe that's just how a lot of Asian drivers get their licenses. They just don't have a fucking, they don't have a fucking course or anything, I mean, I think
take a test.
I think
They're
what keeps us
bumping everybody.
Yeah, I think what keeps us all safe out on the road is that we did that written test. I just kept taking that written test because you could take it and it was free, and I just took it until I passed it. I didn't lose hope.
Wait,
I didn't keep track
you
of the
didn't
hint.
pass it.
Right.
You didn't pass it.
I didn't pass that thing like 9 or 10 times.
Jesus.
Eventually I I just kind of went.
Well, eventually you cycled through all the wrong answers.
Yeah, I was.
You're mathematic.
I think it's a lot like my daughter passing the senior level ice skating test. She was almost on the cusp of it, and now she, years later, she's still. It's like it's a fucking elusive test, that driver's test. What do you do? Left? Is that the one where I can go on a
What does yield mean?
Yeah, a rolling stop cover. A rolling stop covers a lot of that.
I passed mine the day I turned 15 and a half, Andy. I don't know. I'm not relating to this story. You called me retarded earlier, and now I feel like I got redemption.
Yeah, I just had, I had trouble after I studied I memorized the Bible and I got awards for it. And then after that, I just had trouble with retention. I guess having the Bible.
I don't even have to ask.
Yeah, having the Bible force in my head. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Andy took the test.
That's about 8 or 9.
Didn't ace it. He probably just squeaked by, just barely.
I was ready for the driving part, I was surprised because I practiced with my pedophile, and he had a cruise handbrake, or like a pedophile or a crippled guy. It was like a different system. So I mean, I was at a disadvantage on the driving test. But just the fact that the guy giving the driving test didn't rub my leg made me more relaxed, and I breezed through that one in 2 tries. It only took 2 tries. The first time I went down a one-way street the wrong way, but
Because you
Live and
thought the
learn.
guy wanted a
So did your
blowjob.
teacher.
Yes, I was trying to find an ATM.
All right, then next we go down the dead end road. I know the drill.
I know.
When I went to get my motorcycle test the first time was right after I bought a motorcycle, rode it to the DMV, got a number, got the book, and I studied the book until they called my name, and then I went and passed the fucking test. It's not Jesus Christ, Andy. I've got fucking intelligence a lot now.
Some of
Wow.
it's common sense. You know, like if you approach a stop sign, you should A, stop completely and fully at the line, or
Well-
B, you know, slow down to under 10 miles per hour and roll through the stop sign. Like sometimes by sheer
that point-
common sense.
Some
By that-
elimination. Read all
by
the
that-
wrong answers and don't pick them.
By that point in my life, I'd already been, queered off on the church. A lot of adult, I mean, I didn't respect authority at that point. If there was some sort of book that said to turn right at a red, I fucking going left because I'm not sure I like what they're trying to lead me into.
I don't trust you.
Yeah, Jesus is
I
a
was
fucking.
gonna give you some credit too, because I guess if you thought someone was gonna try to fuck you on the road test, I guess I'd fuck up the written test 9 times too.
Yeah. So can't get out there. I don't know.
Gotta stay in this room with
Yeah.
40 people in it.
It says it's a multiple choice. Why do you keep writing no blowjobs and crossing it? But this is not even. It's not even a question. Wow! Holy shit!
Uh-oh.
Something just happened.
No, I'm getting a drink.
I started. Did you?
Oh,
Getting
okay.
a drink. I can hear you guys. I can hear
Everything
you.
everything started repeating as well. or
Yeah,
something. It
we
was
had
just my
some
own-
weirdness happen. I don't
Yeah,
know what that was.
that's what
but
also you
sorry.
can't get on just a podcast is you don't get the
Can't get
live
that.
head trip. Like you're seeing somebody go, "Oh wait, did I lick some LSD or is this a technical glitch?"
Shit's
Am I a-
kicking in, bro.
Yeah, am I a technical glitch? Is there a glitch in technology? I think there's a glitch in technology. That's why we're all fucking just holy fuck, man.
Well, I started just for this podcast. I started taking one headphone off my ear because I realized that I yell at you guys all the time, and it probably sucks for whoever edits this. And then
It's fine.
I've
People
now
thought they were
realized-
listening to the Republican hearing.
I've now realized that I might be yelling because you guys are far away. I don't know why the fuck I'm yelling. I never yell in here. My fucking studio.
Yeah, Tracy, we're in a different place this week. It's just a one room, like efficiency, and the walls are thick because that's the way they build them out here. But Chase is like, I can't escape Shaylee yelling right now because it's just me yelling into a microphone with my headphones on. She can't hear what else is happening, so it's just me yelling like for an hour. So she went to the mall. She's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Carrie Mitchell complains too about the yelling, but I tell her that it's a very important podcast that we're doing.
My
So,
wife
Sometimes you
doesn't.
just got to make
Start
sacrifices.
their own podcast. They could
My-
they could start their own podcast. Men are yelling.
My
Yeah.
wife doesn't. My wife
Men are
doesn't.
yelling.
My wife never says anything about that because I'm the head of the house now.
Well, that's good.
Why did she leave?
No. I mean, just no. I mean, by deferment.
Jehovah's Witness
Yeah,
tenant of their
The
Yeah,
tenant,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
surprised that she still goes for that once she found out that was one of the stipulations.
I still
That
find
should have
her.
been a red flag for her.
As the head of the house, I find her hair length a little disrespectful, but I'm learning to cope with it.
Well, you're a
Hey.
very giving and generous leader.
Well, yeah.
it's good to-
Well, yeah, it's a sinking ship. We're trying to recruit new members, or I am.
Well, I had a truly Hawaiian breakfast today, guys.
Spammer.
Spam, brown rice, and Mai Tais.
Sweet.
Nice.
It is
Yeah.
too sweet. I have to put Sprite in here to mellow it out. It's a pre-made. It's a pre-made. But yeah,
My-
man, it's like those club cocktails. Ugh.
My introduction to Mai Tais was at my honeymoon a few years back, and we went to a thing. It was a luau at a Mormon place, and I didn't piece it together.
Cultural center.
Yeah,
I
didn't piece it together till I was about 30 Mai Tais in on the evening and going, holy shit, I should be, there should be some handcuffs or some bullshit going on. I should be in divorce court in a minute. But they were all watered down. They fucking symbolic Mai Tais, apparently, the Mormons poured. And now, come to find out, the Mormons have been pouring all that extra rum into their own accounts for their own shit to the tune of billions anyway.
Hey, Andy, did you have to get on a bus to go to that cultural center? Was it a far bus ride?
Yeah, and thank
God.
So
that was up in North Shore.
I was dragged down to participate in that fucking dance thing, and it was, it's still
the hula.
My face is still red with anger from that event. No, I'm not being a good sport at all. I don't want to do this at all. Not at all. I don't care what day it is or what happened a week ago. I don't want to do this shit. Anyway, I think my face invented the fire dance. Yeah, the cultural center. Yeah. Bad news.
And it's where the Hilton is. And every time I go, oh, Trace, you might have seen that. Because it's always, you've seen it on TV, like the Brady Bunch when Greg finds the idol. It's
man.
all throwback to wait. There's a lot of more build up.
Do you think that spider would have showed up if Greg didn't have that? Because my thinking is that spider was headed there anyway. Yeah, I don't think that tiki idol had anything to do with the tarantula showing up.
Well, there's no tarantulas on this island except for the zoo.
All right. Well, that is compelling evidence. I'm surprised Inman the conspiracy squirrel isn't showing up for some peanuts on that note. But Vincent Price in that cave though, that'll fucking shake you up.
Yeah.
Right? That's the Brady Bunch. I know a little bit too much about the Brady Bunch. Yeah.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah. Well,
just
because that was my, the family that I liked when I grew up. There was some people
family
who
you
watched
wish you were in.
Yeah, the family I just put myself into. Yeah, like when I would hide in the closet and cry, I was a Brady.
You wanted to be little Oliver, the little
you were
boy.
cousin. I was gonna say you were cousin Oliver.
I kind of was. Yeah. And my family was not like the Brady Bunch. It was more like the Manson family when David and Larry were kicking it. Those guys. Now I realize they just didn't handle their acid well. They probably had some dark spots too, and so yeah. Now it makes sense. Larry wasn't gonna cut us with that knife. He's just making it fun. Keeping it real, Larry was. Keeping it real.
It's fun.
Fuck. Oh, shit. All right. Well, that's one in the books.
Are we doing two?
Don't you think?
Already? All right.
We're 55 minutes in.
Done.
Let's
mail it
do
in.
some plugs, and then let's do this. Let's do some plugs, and then let's make a round of drinks, and let's do one more, and then we can be off next week. Sounds all right. All right.
We changed.
I just meant the drink part. I'm
you can if you want. Yeah, I'm too. So it'll be perfect timing. And I think I'm gonna put.
If I didn't know we were gonna have a drink intermission, I would have waited.
No, that's all right. You can make another one. Pound that one down. There you go.
That's pretty good, man.
So we've got a couple of live podcasts coming up. If you're in Vegas for the Doug Stanhope Show at the Plaza, come see us at the Dive Bar on Monday night at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock on Monday.
8 o'clock doors.
And
then we're
doing-
gonna do the podcast live there on Monday night. Tuesday, New Year's Eve, we're not doing anything. We're gonna go to the Doug Stanhope show, and hopefully you are too. And then Wednesday, we'll be podcasting again at Tommy Rockers at 7 o'clock doors, I think. So there you go. And both of those shows, both of our podcasts are free to you, our wonderful viewer and listener. So come out, come out and bring party favors for Andy and I.
Bring 2 cans of.
What the fuck? I don't get brought in on that.
You're in. You're in.
What's up?
Bring 2 cans of pharmaceuticals. For our canned pharmaceutical drive.
Just 2 of anything. A suggested donation of 2.
We're doing
something that I've learned from previous Vegas trips. If you want to share something with Chad Shank, don't give it to Andy Andrist and say, share this with Chad Shank. Flip that around. Give it to Chad Shank and say, share this with Andy Andrist, because I'll actually share.
Yeah, that's absolutely. In fact, you can give it to anybody but Andy.
This is the season of giving.
Tell yourself that.
We're going to start a Noah's Ark of pills. So bring 2 of anything, and then we're going to put them into one of those old Union 76 Arks and fill it with pills.
Also, there's some comedy shows coming up. Andy and I will be in San Diego on Friday night, December 27th at Winston's OB down on the beach. Great venue. We've done it with Stanhope a couple times. It's a lot of fun. If you're in Southern California, come see us. You can get tickets on Eventbrite. I'll put a link in the description. And then the next night, we are in Ventura, California. And I cannot remember the name of the venue. And I don't know that the guy has set up a ticket link for advanced tickets, but I'll put up the information on here, and you guys can check it out. If you're in the LA area or just north, you can come see Andy and I on the 28th of December as well.
On.
Next.
You could see me on my Twitch channel, HD_fatty as my Twitch name, but easier than that, go to my Twitter at HDfatty. My pinned tweet will tell you how to use your Amazon Prime subscription, and subscribe for free. It's going all right. We're having a good time over there. You can also probably check out by the end of January, early February. I probably will have an audiobook out. I've got actual goals right now, fellas. I've been in the studio and working and trying to put together goals. Now that I don't have kids, I feel like someone just took a noose around my neck and took it away. So I feel like I might have a second chance at life. I'm gonna try to give it a go.
Oh man! What have you done with the real Chad Shank? Where is the real Chad Shank?
Here's the real thing is you know, they used to call it it wasn't called the bipolar disorder, it was called manic depression.
Yeah.
This is what's called manic. I've been fucking not sleeping. I've been spending hours out here, but at this point I've done it so many times that I'm trying to just use it for positive fucking purposes. So we'll see.
There you go.
Man, that sounds like a sales pitch for abortion. Almost, I mean, you're talking about kids going somewhere else and not just being, put out through humane torture or whatever.
No, the kids I had living with me moved back in with their parents, so I don't have children anymore.
Me and Brett did that. It just took 18 years.
No shit.
18 plus.
I did it for 18 plus and then had to start over again. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Imagine you got saddled with a newborn the day you got home from Alaska after partying. Your news when you got home was, hey, congratulations, you're a father, and they're already here. So,
and they're hungry.
and your nose is bleeding.
All right, Shaylee, you got anything?
Just get on the mailing list for Doug Stanhope at DougStanhope.com. We've got the dive bar, we've got the Plaza show on the 31st, And
Right on.
yeah, I saw a guy from the last time we were out there with Stanhope. I saw one of the guys who went to Tommy Rockers with us and drank. Remember when you and I went up on stage and we're singing karaoke and shit with Rocker,
I mean,
Tommy Rocker?
I've seen pictures of it.
Yes.
It's a mess.
That guy, I'm walking back to our hotel the other day, and the guy goes, like, in Honolulu, Shaylee, like, as I'm walking down a street, right? I'm like, what the fuck? That's random. On the street, and there's a guy at me, and he's got a Mishka Shubaling elephant shirt on, and you gotta wave like you know him, because I mean, you recognize the shirt. There's a chance you know this person, right? And later on at the show, at the Blue Note in Hawaii, that guy showed up. He was at the Tommy Rockers that night with us, hanging out till all hours, singing fucking whatever. So it was fun. That's it. Go to get on the mailing list.
All right, guys. That was great. Everybody out there, please like and subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to the Issues with Andy YouTube channel, do it. We're up to 1,500 subscribers right now, and that's pretty good, but it would be really great if we had 105,000 subscribers. So, yeah, subscribe, and then you'll get all of the Issues with Andy content your greedy little heart desires. Great job, gentlemen. Let's do this again next week. Wink, wink.
Let's do it again real soon.
Hey,
real soon.
I'm just gonna go change shirts and a hat.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna turn my shirt inside out. Hold on.
Don't give it away, David
I'll see you
Blaine.
guys later.
All right. Yeah.